Have you ever really stopped to think about what happens to your money? I mean, where does a dollar actually go after you get paid? What's its life like? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to follow a single dollar on its completely wild journey through the economy.
And it all starts right here. You know the feeling. The email lands, you've been paid. It's a great moment. But then you log into your bank account and the number you see is just smaller, way smaller. It's that universal moment of, wait a second, what just happened?
So the big question, right? Where did that missing chunk of your hard-earned cash just vanish to? Well, our dollar's very first adventure is an encounter with a bunch of, let's call them, invisible forces, all taking their piece before you even get a chance to spend it.
Ah, yes, taxes. You know, it's basically the cover charge for living in a civilized society. It's the money that pays for roads that don't destroy your car, schools for kids, and, yeah, health inspectors who make sure your favorite taco truck is up to code. It's not glamorous, but it's important. So let's look at what that actually means for your paycheck. Before you see a single cent, a slice is carved out for federal taxes, then another one for state taxes. A chunk goes to Social Security, which is kind of like the government's mandatory retirement savings plan for you. And another piece goes to Medicare. And what's left over? Well, that's your cut.
And here's where it gets a little wild. The government, they already have all the numbers. They know exactly how much you owe. But for some reason, they make you do all the math and guess the right number. It's like a national game show every year where if you guess wrong, the prizes are not great.
Okay, so let's talk about the money that actually makes it into your account. You might have this image of it sitting safely in a giant vault, maybe guarded by a dragon. But the reality? The second your deposit clears, your money is already flying back out the door, probably helping someone finance a brand new jet ski.
So how is that even possible? It's a system called fractional reserve banking. See, banks make money by lending out your money to other people. The whole thing works because of one giant bet. The bet that we're not all going to show up on the same day and ask for all of our cash back at once.
Now, before you start thinking about hiding your cash under the mattress, don't worry, there's a safety net. In the US, the government insures your money in the bank up to this number, $250,000 per person per bank. So even while your dollar is out funding aquatic adventures, it's still safe.
And all of this lending and borrowing introduces us to one of the most powerful forces in the financial universe, interest. The easiest way to think about it is like rent for money. If someone else gets to use your money for a while, they have to pay you for the privilege. Simple. But interest has a serious split personality. See, when you're the one borrowing, interest can be your absolute worst enemy. It's the reason a $12 burrito you put on a credit card can turn into a $50 regret a few years later. But when you save or invest, interest becomes your best employee. It works for you 24/7, making little money clones all day long.
So how do banks and lenders decide what kind of rent or interest rate you have to pay? Well, they look at this number, your credit score. It's basically your adult report card. It's a 3-digit number that tells the world how trustworthy you are with borrowed money.
So what's the secret to a good score? It's actually not that complicated. For the most part, it all boils down to two huge things. 1, pay your bills on time every single time. And 2, don't use too much of the credit you have available. Seriously, if you just nail those two, you're pretty much golden.
I just love this quote because it's so true, right? You just can't ignore your credit score. If you do, it will eventually make a huge mess of your life. But if you take good care of it, it can be your best friend, helping you get things like a car or even a house.
All right, our dollar's journey is far from over because there's another sneaky, invisible force that's constantly trying to take a bite out of it. You've felt this a million times. It's that feeling you get when you open a brand new bag of chips and it's already half empty. That is inflation.
See, inflation is this slow, quiet process that shrinks the value of your money. A $5 bill today is still a $5 bill 10 years from now, but it's going to buy you a lot less stuff. It's like a silent thief that's always at work.
And all of this is happening against the backdrop of the larger economy, which moves in cycles. You can think of it like seasons. There are boom times when everything's growing, then things slow down, and sometimes you get a bust or a recession. It can definitely be painful, but it's a natural part of how the whole system resets itself.
So when you think about it, taxes are taking a chunk, and inflation is constantly trying to shrink what's left. What in the world are you supposed to do? You can't just let your money sit there and take a beating. You have to make it fight back. You got to put it on offense.
And that offense, that's investing. This is the single biggest mindset shift you can make. For most of your life, you trade your time for money. Investing is when you start trading your money for more money. You make it work for you.
And what does that actually look like? Well, you can buy things like stocks, which are just tiny little slices of ownership in a company, or bonds, which is where you're basically lending your money to a big company or even the government. Or you can buy funds, which are like pre-packaged baskets that hold lots of different stocks and bonds.
But the real secret weapon of investing isn't about picking the perfect stock. It's about time. That same force, interest, that can crush you with debt becomes an unstoppable superpower when you invest. Over decades, it compounds on itself, turning small amounts of money into something truly huge.
And that's really the biggest lesson from our dollars-long journey. Building real, lasting wealth isn't about getting lucky or hitting it big overnight. It's a long game. It's about being patient and consistent and letting that compounding engine do its thing for decades.
So after following this dollar all over the place, it really comes down to this one question. Your money is always moving. It's either working against you in the form of debt and inflation, or it's working for you as your best, hardest working, unpaid employee. So who's collecting it? The choice is up to you.